Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and for today we have another amazing Reebok retro to discuss, the Daytona DMX 2018 retro of the legendary shoe created in the late 90s by Christian Tresser. Another of his amazing creations. If you've seen some of my previous videos, we just recently talked about the Reebok Aztrek, the 2018 retro of the 1993 runner, his first shoe with Reebok, and this was one of his latest creations for Reebok in the late 90s, early 2000s to feature the DMX. There's a lot to talk about this shoe. We're gonna compare it to the sample we have. We're gonna compare it to some of the other retros. So let's get closer, talk about this shoe and see what are the differences and what are similarities with the sample we have in hand. We'll be right back. All right, there's a lot of shoes on the table, but first thing first, we're gonna talk about this original colorway, the first one to be released by Reebok just a few weeks ago on the Daytona DMX, and see what's similar and what's different to the sample I have. And obviously we're gonna look at the similarities and differences with the recently released Reebok Aztrek. First thing, let's look at this label. So the label says Daytona DMX, man, size 8.5. These, for me, they run through to the size. I went through to the size and they're fit perfectly well. The colorway is white, navy, and solid gray. This is the original colorway of one of the original colorways of the Daytona DMX. And then we have this sample. We're gonna look at the differences. First thing to report right away is that the Daytona DMX, the production and the retail version actually features functioning DMX system. Very easily recognizable. If I pull the paper out and the insole, you will notice even with naked eye, the three smaller pods on the heel, the transition bridge, and the deep down in the forefoot right there, the three larger air pods. This is the third generation of the DMX after DMX 10 and DMX 6 to feature that technology, and obviously it's working, implemented again by Reebok on the Daytona DMX retro. For $125, I think this is the best retro you can get right now with a functioning technology from the 90s. Great insole with explanation of the DMX system. This exactly was the insole that was intended to be on the Aztrek originally. Unfortunately, Reebok cheaped out on them. So overall, I have to say this is the better retro. As much as it pains me to admit, the Daytona DMX retro is much better than the Aztrek when it comes to craftsmanship, technology implementation, and overall comfort and fit. I'm gonna mention it a few times in the different situations and tell you why, but I think the price of $125, it's totally worth it for the Daytona. And I think especially with the DMX technology that works and it's extremely comfortable. If you remember seeing my review a few weeks back on the sample, you can actually hear they're transitioning between the heel and forefoot when you step in. The same exact experience you're gonna have with this first original colorway from Reebok. Now, what are some of the differences with the sample? First and foremost, you're gonna notice some little details like on the ton. The logo is a little bit different on the production versus the sample. The sample is a lot better, jeweled, bigger logo, kind of glossier. This one is smaller, kind of feels thinner, less rubberized or less glossy. I don't know, in hands they're very different. On the camera, not that much differences, but again, you can probably see the sample one has a better logo right there. And the another thing that kind of is a little bit of a surprise to me, or I don't know what exactly happened, if you look at the outsole, on my sample review I mentioned that the bottom loaded part of the DMX is actually visible right here. You can see it on the forefoot and on the heel as well. You see how it depresses, and there's definitely air underneath. And this is how that DMX system was composed back in the day. There was a bottom layer and there was a top layer. And the actual retail pair, these pods are gone. I don't know if Reebok just covered them better because they were afraid that people stepping in with the exposed they might pop them, and that's going to create some problems in the future. You know, air is going to get inside, and then dirt and water maybe, and it's not going to be a great experience. That's why I decided to cover that. So I'm not really mad about that. They're still extremely comfortable. When you put them on feet, like I mentioned, exactly the same feeling. You can hear the air moving from the heel to forefoot, forefoot to heel. I think this colorway is absolutely iconic and great for the DMX Daytona. I love that white hint. It's actually more like an ivory color. It has a little speckle in it. I'm not sure if the camera picks it up a little bit better. And obviously we have the reflective piping all around. Overall, absolutely great design by Christian Tresser. I think he did a great job with these. I mean, almost all of his designs are incredible and I absolutely love them. Speed lacing system, mesh, combination of synthetic leather and mesh, great. We have a TPU support, functioning DMX. Another thing that is a little bit different, the side vector logo, much smaller on the production versus the sample. Side by side, and you'll see that the sample actually is jeweled. Very nice effect, where the production is a little bit cheaper looking and doesn't have that jewel effect. But again, that's minor details that only I probably notice and care about. I still believe this is incredible retro, much more padding you'll see here compared to the Aztrek. You will see how much thicker the sides are compared to the ones on the Aztrek. Look at the tone on the Aztrek, paper thin, versus the much thicker and much more plush tone of the Daytona. Again, 125 versus 90. Is it $35 make the difference? Probably. And again, looking the overall craftsmanship and the way that this shoe came together and the way it feels, it's a lot better than this. Unfortunately, because this is one of my all-time favorite shoes, and it really hurts me the way it came out. They look great from a distance, but when you get closer and put them on feet, it's a different feeling. But enough is enough about this. The Daytona is great. I think so far this is the best Reebok runner retro for this year. Even I bought the DMX Run 10 again, the 97, the newer retro, which I'm gonna come up with a video and a little comparison between the 2013 and the newest one. But again, I still believe this is the best runner from Reebok to come this year. Great details, functioning DMX, finally, very comfortable on feet. They feel great, great support. I believe, I truly believe that you can still use these for training or running because of the functioning DMX. They're very comfortable, a lot of padding, a lot of support, great support system from the lacing. When you really lace them, you can feel them like part of your feet and you can run with them, no problem. You know, great touches and details by Christian Tresser with these lines and the DMX and the tiny little vector logos and branding here and there. I love that era when the branding was minimalistic. Same exact pull tab, even the color of the sample, obviously a little bit darker here and a little bit lighter here, but overall not a lot of differences between both. I think they came together very nicely, and they're indeed you know, one of the best retros right now at the moment. That's my opinion, obviously, but when it comes to Reebok, I think this is it. So yeah, go ahead and grab yourself a pair or wait for the other colorways. There will be abundance of original colorways, color plus versions of these shoes, both the Daytona and the Aztrek. If you want to wait for sale, wait for sale. If you don't buy them, I bought them right away because I love these shoes, and absolutely I love them very much, and I think they're great, and I'm gonna wear them as much as I can. That's pretty much it, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. There will be a lot more coming. I have tons of more samples to show you, a lot of new sneakers that are coming my way that I'm gonna introduce and show and talk about the history. We're gonna do it on feet. I'm gonna film all these shoes on feet and post a video so you can see how they look. And until next time, you have a wonderful day.